What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast. Now, I'm Alex, and in this video, I'm going to be going over new Spider-Man 2 leaks. Now, we've actually talked quite a bit about Spider-Man 2. It seems like every month or so, there's a massive drop of leaks that come out for this game. We've covered it here and also on my second channel. I'm going to link that in the description below in case you guys want to check it out, in case you guys haven't seen them in the past. I think some of this stuff, some of these details do actually overlap, and even the leaks that have happened before, like months ago, have overlapped with each other, which is a good thing, by the way, because it adds more credibility to it. But we're going to be going over the new things, or the things at least said in this video, and I'm going to give my kind of analysis. We'll talk about if any of the stuff is the same and go from there. Now, one of the things this says is that the game is reportedly going to be revealed this summer with a holiday 2021 release, but due to the blank, the reveal has been pushed back to late summer. Now, we'll talk about in a little bit, we'll talk about at the end if I believe that, how I kind of see that playing out. But let's go into these story details. MJ and Peter both now work at the Daily Bugle. J. Jonah Jameson has returned to the Bugle after financial hardships hit his podcast from the first game. Him and Eddie Brock will be characters Peter interacts with in person. Dr. Connors is brought up in one of their interactions. Now, the symbiote will play a large role within the story, with Peter first coming across a blob of it on the street in this interaction. The symbiote isn't Venom, being described by the leaker's contact as proto-Venom. The events preceding this have Harry breaking free during Act 1. In that same scene, the symbiote will bond with Peter and leave Harry. This paves the way for Eddie Brock's Venom. Harry will be saved for something later down the line. Harry's disease is cured after this, but he is hospitalized. Gameplay changes. 7 weather types in-game. Light snow, heavy snow, light rain were showcased. Snow can build up on your suit and allows for realistic footprints from the players and surrounding NPCs. An increased number of smaller side quests and tasks called dynamic missions. These include grabbing a balloon, a throwback to the Spider-Man 2 tie-in game, rescuing construction workers from buildings and scaffolding they'll need to brought to hospitals after being rescued. These missions aim to highlight the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man aspect of the character. Peter can now walk around New York with snow building up on his jacket, as it does with Spider-Man's suit. The Statue of Liberty is fully traversable location. Spider-Man's famous black suit makes an appearance in the presentation. Each suit has a symbiote version of itself that can be switched on. The black suit has its own skill tree. The advanced suit and web suit, Raimi suit, are in the game. The black suit doesn't try to copy Web of Shadows, but when equipped, certain elements of combat from the first game are removed to create a more fluid experience. Attacks are faster and dodges are less important. Multiple enemies can be attacked at once with certain abilities. New characters and boss fights. Mysterio is in the game with a boss battle that will take place on the Statue of Liberty. He makes multiple appearances in the game. More side quests will be included with Daredevil and the Human Torch mentioned. The Human Torch's missions will have you racing against Johnny. Miles seems to have a playable scene as he has his own suits. 3 DLCs packs are planned, like the first game, with Morbius, Carnage, and Wraith being the focus of each one. That is quite a bit. Now, I didn't read that before going through it with you guys, so that was the first time reading it for me. A lot of that stuff is new. A lot of that stuff is kind of like minute to minute, looks like, of what the game, they actually saw, right? They're like smaller scenes. But I honestly do believe it. Again, some of the stuff is overlapping. The weather changes. We knew it was going to be a dynamic weather. We knew it was going to take place over winter. It was going to actually be like a winter game. So to have those different weather effects makes sense. A lot of it did have to do with the story. I like it. I like everything about this. It really seems like what they're trying to do is elevate the game. I had recently just replayed all of this Spider-Man game. Okay, now I never actually beat it when the game came out. I replayed it from the beginning, 100% of it, got the platinum, all that kind of stuff. I did that recently, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, but you could tell that the game was missing some things. Not, it was like a Game of the Year contender. I agree with all that stuff, but there were some things that could definitely be elevated. Side quests are honestly a big part of that. I think the side quests overall were probably the weakest part of that game. You could argue it, but in my opinion, that's what they were. Seems like that is what is the main kind of thing that's being addressed. I mean, the main story, we'll have to see where it goes. Obviously, again, we know the symbiote suit, or we know the symbiote in general, right? We know Venom, we know Harry as well. Things are going to happen there. We'll have to see what they introduce, who's going to be in this game for a long period of time. They didn't really mention Miles all that much, and from past leaks, we know that Miles is a very, very important, crucial part of these games. Very, very important. That you're going to be able to play as him quite often. Not as much. It sounds like, these are from past leaks, by the way. I don't think you're going to play as any character as much as you will play as Spider-Man, but you will play as them. Now, and also, again, the thing that this one kind of brought in is that you can play as Peter. Now, that's brand new. I don't think that's been in any leaks so far that you'll actually be able to play as Peter Parker. I like the idea. We talk about Batman quite often on this channel. Maybe some of you guys have even watched that stuff, and some of the things I've pitched for like the new Batman game is let us play as Bruce Wayne. Now, I guess Peter Parker, it's a little bit different. And now I get it. We did get to play as Peter Parker in the original, right? We had a couple of scenes. To be able to do it again, to be able to walk the streets, though, have a little bit more, again, like freedom with him, I think that's good. I honestly feel like it's good to branch out. And even the first game started to do that, where it's like, okay, well, Spider-Man's the main focus, but MJ, you get to play as her a little bit. You get to play as Miles. You play as Peter, but in very kind of enclosed situations. So I like the idea of being able to play as these characters a little bit more, give them a little bit freedom. And then again, when you're around the city doing your stuff, there's a lot of gameplay features, right? We talked about all that in these leaks. I like them. The gameplay was really, really good in the first one. It's kind of a situation where it's like, just don't ruin kind of a good thing. If you want to throw in those other suits, you want things to be turned kind of on and off. That's totally, like the black suit, stuff like that. That's totally cool. Nothing wrong with that. I really, what's interesting is I'm not like the biggest fan of those kind of things. The suits in Spider-Man were absolutely amazing. I feel like that's the first game, in my opinion, that's the first game for me that I really jumped into and like wanted to kind of see my character going around in all these different costumes. Most of the time, though, I personally don't really care. Although, again, like Spider-Man did kind of change my mind, especially for this game. So again, it's a situation where it's like, just don't mess it up. Don't go backwards. And it seems like all they're doing is going forwards. And again, to talk about the villains, I believe Mysterio had been mentioned before. This isn't the first time we've heard that. Carnage, Venom, those those villains, we've heard their names brought up before. So those are not new as well. So again, like, why am I keep saying that? Well, that's good, because I believe there's already been 2 major leaks on this game in the past, I'd say since January. So this is good to kind of, triple down on some of them. So I believe in all of them. One last thing I want to talk about is that release date. Now, again, that's something that was also said time and time again, was that this game would be released holiday 2021. And I've said it. I think that's a phenomenal time. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think Spider-Man has been looked at since it came out as a game that can drive consoles. There's things going around even on just in the industry saying how the PlayStation 5 and Series X may take some pretty big financial hits late in 2021. Maybe there won't be as many people buying next-gen consoles. That could be, but the good thing for Sony in this like specific case is that Spider-Man is that system seller. The first Spider-Man is still selling copies now. It sold consoles back in 2018, when really a lot of people already had PS4s, right? Spider-Man sold them. Spider-Man is a massive, massive figure for Sony. It's good to see. It is really, really good to see that he's made that much of an impact on gaming. So I do believe that the announcement, I think that the announcement's just paired with whenever they announce the PS5 stuff. So I guess if you want to believe this leak, could that mean that we get the PS5 announcement later in the in the summer? That's possible. I don't see how you do an event. And again, it's been talked about, like, did the event get canceled from Sony, the PS5 event? Like, are they not going to do it anymore, right? We talked about some of the PlayStation news that's happened over the last couple of days. But I don't see how you do an event where you show the PlayStation 5, you do the release date, you do the price, you show some of the games that are coming out for it in the short term and in the long term. I don't know how you do that without showing Spider-Man, or at least talking about Spider-Man. So I guess if you let that pass and then you don't do a reveal and then you do a reveal later on, that seems like a little messed up. Again, unless you want to believe this leak means, okay, well, we're going to announce the PS5 later in the summer. But again, I don't know if you do that, because Microsoft will do it in June, and then you have a whole problem there. So it'll be interesting to monitor for sure, but this is really exciting. I mean, all of the leaks that have come out for Spider-Man, I think there is a lot of credibility to them, especially, again, because they kind of all overlap. They're all saying, now, are they just copying what somebody else before them said? Yeah, it's possible, but then they add some new stuff of their own. So I'm willing to say that it's true for now. Obviously, we'll see it very, very soon, and I do think we'll see it soon. So guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? You excited for Spider-Man 2? When do you think it's going to be announced? What are you expecting to see from it? I think it's going to be a really, really amazing thing when we all see it. I think it's going to get get people very, very hyped. Make sure you guys are subscribed to our YouTube channel podcast now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.